The idea of nuclear fusion is always something that people think is few decades away. There is a very interesting saying that I grew up with. Future is not what it used to be. So today, if my idea of future is tomorrow we will probably be all on electric mobility, I think we will be flawed. Maybe a year later it will change. So the idea of future, or what we call as energy, should always be represented in terms of abundance. Today morning there were few sessions and I think one of the audience asked a question, hey, there are 100 lights, why can't we switch off few and save 20? See, predominantly our nature is saving. Your nature should be abundance. Hey, we have 100, why don't we make 200? Let's produce energy for those 200 lights. That should be the nature of abundance. And that's where the need for an industry, the need for maybe what Dr. Venugopal said, like PLI is a good initiative, but there is always a stigma attached to it. The need for the industry to come and do it. Energy is like our Hyderabad traffic. Everybody complains about it. Nobody understands about it, but we still need it every day. So your answer for energy looking down or does not lie in taking those baby steps. It has to be pinnacle of energy, which is nuclear fusion. Fusion is abundant energy. So you can run this entire building, you can power a aircraft, you can power a submarine, you can power a simple bike. Everybody remembers when somebody says we bought a car or a bike, they say, "Arey, kitna deta hai?" Why should that question come up? The energy abundance will beat off those questions, and that's the first thing that we have to do. If you look at the entire ecosystem of funding, there are two organized way of putting out the funds for any startup. One is the government grants and government funding. Second is the venture capital. Or the beauty about or the flip side about deep tech startups is they have a gestation period of minimum 10 years before they can. We have come here almost after 11 years of research and development. Now, a venture capital has a fund life of around 7 years. I mean, they would want to return to their investors and exit at 7 years and 10 years. So, definitely there is a gap on how we can get venture capital. But the government, today's initiatives, RDIF funds, these are definitely an interesting initiatives, but it's just that there is not many manuals for us to get there. And institutions like IICT, institutions like DRDO, DMRL, there are a lot of these deep tech space institutions that have to come forward for footing this. At least they can get the funding and they can provide the required ecosystem. Say for example, I'll talk to you about one machine called as residual gas analysis. The whole of country has only one, that too in Indian Institute of Science, and that too it's broken. So neither can we build it nor do we have the capability of doing it. So the two things that needs to be addressed for a deep tech space company is see that if we can be given that runway to get there, number one. Number two, there should be a industry, academia collaboration as rightly put out by Dr. Venugopal. And one last point that I would add, what Mr. Reddy said is, the startups don't want incentives. Startups don't want your blessings. I mean, for the lack of right words. But at least there should be some policy that governs what we are doing and That should not be an hindrance for us to get to the market. As simple as that. Word it around 3 segments. Understand both sides of the story. So you are actually the bridge in terms of what we want. We have T-Hub, we have all these incubation centers across the country. But if you want to name deep tech incubation centers, you can just count them in your hand. Very few. We are currently in a place called IIIT. And of course, there is a very interesting incubation for us that's happening here because the professors are collaborating with us. They are lending their test labs for us. And I guess that is an important aspect. Today, an IIT has an access only to an IITians for an incubation. Though they might have a lot of facilities which is still government funded, but they are not even consumed to 10% of their capability. So an ecosystem that there is a website today that has which center has what, but it's just a raster data. A connected ecosystem saying that, hey, you want this, you go to Indore RRCat, I'll give you this. That is number one. Number two, the TRL level, say from 1 to 5 or 6, is what a hand-holding from government should happen. It doesn't have to be in the name of funding. It can happen in the name of all the resources that you provide for them. And that will become a very critical thing. And the third final aspect that I would articulate upon here is a forum, a dedicated forum for all these things, because all of us are connected in some way or the other. And believe me, today we've come onto the stage as strangers, but we will go back home taking lot of knowledge, and this will transform into something. We don't have such forums. We don't have such forums where you are connected with a very clear reason. And that I would say all those 3 points that is required.